Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Tier 1 Civilian Preparedness. We also have a Facebook group, same name, so feel free to pop over there and join up this public group. And it's our group, so we have a lot of good people over there, subject matter experts. People are just getting started, so I'm prepared. So Einstein said that brilliance is no match for man with a list, so we'll see. I wanted to start with this introduction. I'll go ahead and read. Here I have prepared a comprehensive approach to preparing for emergencies and unforeseen situations. So, just exactly what is that? An unforeseen situation can be something as simple as flat tire, okay? Storm, a landfall, rock slide, you're blocked, you're stuck in traffic, can't get out. So, you need to prepare for that. Yeah. I think of a story when I trained or showed my wife how to change a tire. How to do it? Nope. Well, that's a good skill to know. So first we got to make sure we have a tire. The tire's inflated. We have a jack and how to operate a service. Seems pretty straightforward, but a lot of people get stuck out there. And they want to call less suave, but there's no cell phone reception, so it's kind of a rough. So after she struggled to get the tire out of the trunk, get the jack situated, put it up, all of that. It was raining, by the way. We have to listen to this. She finally got it done. And I asked her, "What's the lesson?" She said, "Changing a tire sucks. It does. It does." But I told her, it sucks a lot worse when you really got to do it on the side of the road at the highway at midnight. The semis are going by at 70 miles an hour. So, what's the lesson? Make sure all your stuff is in order, your maintenance on your vehicle and everything else is serviceable, so you don't have to suffer through that. So a lot of times those lessons are hard learned, so we want to share and pass them on. Okay, so I've had some of the members in the Facebook group say, "Well, what are we preparing for?" A valid question, and I think, geez, man, turn on the news. Turn on the news. Have you seen what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea down south, blocking shipping up north, Port Said, Egypt, right there where the war is going on with Israel, Hamas. So they block those ships. They have to go around the Horn of Africa, which is going to add fuel costs, time costs, cost to the consumer. So not so good. The Panama Canal Authority has decided to raise passage fees by 30%. So I think it's going to be 30% on your goods and services. It's not. It's going to be more because they have to have profit built in. So hard times have come under already here. You don't think so? Think of what your gasoline was 4 or 5 years ago and what it is now. A lot of people will say, "Oh, well, that's because of inflation, world market, can't do anything about it." I submit just what exactly the hell is inflation? If the U.S. government is the reserve currency of the world, they can print their own money, have money for whatever it is they need. Why are we taxed? Good point. Good point. So as that money gets printed and it gets essentially diluted, our prices and the cost of our goods go up and the value of the money goes down. Something to talk about. Okay, I have here on my list the importance of having a well-rounded plan that includes mental, physical, and material preparation. Man, that's a good one. So, if you don't have a plan, I'm going to leave a link to a plan, 72-hour plan to help you out. And so you can click on that once you get this and modify it to your needs. Comments, always welcome. So it brings me to a gentleman. I had the opportunity to go see one of his presentations, Bob Alexander. And if you're not familiar with Bob, just a tremendous individual and presenter. He is a student of the great sales wizard Zig Ziglar. So I was kind of expecting a salesy type of thing, but it was just the opposite. It was really, really motivating from personal experience from Bob. So he gave an exercise that I thought was very, very interesting. He said to think of like a bicycle wheel with the hub and the spokes that come out. So each spoke is like from, say, 1 to 10. And so on this first spoke, what does your life look like, your physical life? Are you fit? Are you in shape? Are you ill? So you give yourself a little kick on that spoke. The next spoke you go to is how's your family life? You mark that. How's your spiritual life, whether you're a religious person or not? How's your financial life? And so once you get all those spokes there, you draw around so that you get the bicycle. And the question he presented to us was, how's the ride? And like many of us, I was lacking in one area or another and exceeded in others. So a balance is what we're looking for. Frequently we say, oh, I'm too busy. I was too busy to check the oil in the car. I was too busy to check the spare tires. So we want to start having a little balance and having a little awareness. And so that's pretty much what this channel is going to be about. What my goal is to help individuals and families maintain their safety, health, and security during these trying times. And if you don't think we're in trying times, just turn on the news. How many of you recall this recently, like in the last 5 years, hasn't even been that long, recent history, domestic crises here in the United States? There was the Chad up in Seattle. Remember that? There was the Portland riots. And what the mayor did, just let it burn. Oh, let it burn. I had close friends that still work there as police officers, law enforcement, and I said, "What are you guys going to do, man? You can't. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't." I'm just going to bring marshmallows and let it burn. So sounds like probably some kind of thing. Where else? Atlanta, the George Floyd affair. Remember there was a bombing as well. What else has happened? The windmill, the electricity producing windmills in Texas froze up during a hard winter. I know that those of you that haven't been in Texas may not know, but there are hard winters there with ice storms and hail. And so when your means of the electrical grid freezes up, a lot of people suffer. So it's something to consider. So how do we prepare for that? I'm here to help you with that. I've done disaster and emergency preparedness in 4 different countries. I'm a retired police officer out of Washington and Oregon, and since then I've been a third-party contractor for the U.S. State Department, and I've worked in Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico mostly, and Haiti. That's a whole other video. But at any rate, whole entire countries are not prepared. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a link in this description of this for a 72-hour action plan. It's just yours for free to download and take a look at, and so you can come up with. Like I say, make sure to look us on our Facebook page. We're having a lot of good, traction, and we have just a ton of talented people. I mean, talented people that have done this stuff forever, and everybody's got a new take on it or a different take. You get to look at something, critical thinking, through a new set of eyes, which is really, really crucial. So I'd like to follow up, since we're coming out of the gate with a bang. I pulled this paper off the WEF, the World Economic Forum, 3 lies in a row. But here's their plan for us. This is a list of their main threats within the next 2 years. Number one, misinformation and disinformation, commonly known to me as propaganda. So we need to guard ourselves from that. So if you're on half a dozen different TV channels to get the same message, you may want to expand your horizons. Personally, I look at the Israeli news, the Japanese news, the Russian news, and then a couple of outlets here as well. Distill that down, and you might have a modicum of truth besides your own observations. Number two on the WEF's list of events, extreme weather events. Well, we know there's extreme weather events every year since there was weather. For example, in the Caribbean Sea, there's chronicles of these ships going down in the 1500s. It's always been. storms in the Caribbean. There always will be. They hit the Gulf Coast. They always will be. Is it because of man-made interference? Who can say? Regardless of which side of that argument that you're on, that discussion, probably good to kind of be prepared for it. In those areas, the people in Florida, they don't like to leave, so they've got the quarter-inch plywood and they screw it under the windows and they ride it out. If not, have a place to go. Number 3 on their big hit list, societal polarization. Oh, that's only been going around since there were rich people and poor people. So how do we mitigate that? I'd like your thoughts on it, but personally, I think that we just take care of our own family and we extend that out to our friends, our clan, if you will, and our network, because you will not be able to pass this stuff and survive it on your own. You have to have a network of friends, trusted friends, and resources. Oh, number 4, cybersecurity, insecurity. Wow. How many times have we heard, or even got to notice yourself that, oh, sorry, your information has been hacked. Mine was from the VA, and then from Social Security, I believe it was. Oh, it's been hacked, and these guys in Bulgaria, Romania, they have all your information. Well, they've had it already. But how do you mitigate that stuff? I have to look into that. A lot of these guys are so high speed that there's not much you can do besides just back up your data, keep it offline on a USB or another like item. So that's cyber insecurity. Wow, happening all the time. If you guys get on the our Facebook page, I actually put up an interactive map, and it's constant, it's day and night, it's minute per minute of attacks, and they're mostly coming from Russia and China to the United States. I look down in South America where I live in Colombia, and nothing's going on. Nobody wants to conquer Colombia, so I guess I'm safe. The interstate armed conflict, number 5. Well, what do we got going on? What do we got going on just in the last 4 years? Well, we have the Ukrainian, Russian thing. We have Hamas and the blatant attack on Israel. A whole bunch of other little bush wars. I submit that we are in an active war with the cartels in Mexico. So, interstate armed conflict. Number 6, lack of economic opportunity. Of course, when things are getting shut down, when the wages aren't going up, but all the prices are, there's going to be some economic insecurity. I think of my own daughter who lives in Portland, and she's out on her own, just getting her first apartment, and she was nearly in tears. She goes, Dad, a bedroom is $1,000 a month. I'm like, holy cow! Where I live here in Colombia, $1,000 a month of which probably a 5-bedroom, $2,500 place with cleaning service and everything else. So it's all relative, but it's just really, really tough. And nowadays, Portland, Oregon's a war zone. So something to consider for my friends over there. In the Facebook group and here, of course, on YouTube, I've got a lot of friends from the 2 places I spend a lot of time, Washington and Oregon, as well as Kansas when I went back to school there, and some of my old brothers from Colorado as well. Inflation. Well, I've kind of already touched on inflation. We can do a whole video on that. If you want more information, I got a whole book about it. It's on Amazon. It's called The Puppet Masters, Inside the Deep State, The Puppet Masters. So it kind of goes into who's really pulling the strings on the world economy, has for 300 years or so. The various prime ministers and presidents and heads of state, they're not even in the top 5. So something to maybe check out. Involuntary migration. That's a fancy word for refugees. Now, I'm talking real, true refugees, not somebody that's coming over the southern border wearing Gucci shoes and has an iPhone that's $1,000. I'm talking about people that are escaping for their lives. And I think of Haiti. I contracted there and spent a month there. And when I got done, it so impressed me that if I was a Haitian there, I'd be on an inner tube floating to Miami as quick as I could, and sharks are not. So refugees, but if refugees flood a place, it's going to be very very dynamic as far as how that accepting, receiving what is said. Society can handle that. Economic downturn. Now, economies go in cycles. They go up, they go down. Same as weather cycles. Same as cycles of violence, wars of conquest. So, an economic downturn, think we're in it already. I would submit that we are. And pollution. Wow, there's a good one. Have you noticed that there's certain factions of the U.S. government, how the Brits too, all the old colonial powers, they want to tax us for carbon credits. However, the big offenders, China, India, big populations, they kind of get a pass where we can have a plastic straw. I think it's something to consider. But at the same time, how are we going to deal with it? Just on your own individual level. The grassroots, that's where it's at. You have to take care of yourself. Make sure you don't throw stuff out the car window or the dogs are into it and throw it around. And you see people, they do it. They have no national pride, individual pride. But if we can start there, we may be able to expand that out. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for now. I want you folks to check out our links. Links to a lot of good stuff, a lot of good resources. Let me know what you think in the comments, what you'd like to hear. I do have a list, but the list is flexible for the desires of our people, and that's what I want to help. Looking forward to seeing you again. This is Mike. Signing off.